garantálni. Minden egyes leszbikus egy barátnővel és egy családanyával kevesebb.
Véleményem szerint a homoszexuálisokat eszközként felhasználják, hogy valamit a társadalom torkán lenyomjanak, ami egyébként meg természetellenes.
This is not like old fascism, with triumphal marches, dreams of conquest and of global triumph. It's a very, very uneventful glide towards the precipice. Without resistance, we are past the danger. It has already happened. It was dangerous 10 years ago. Now this is it.
Imádom ezt a várost.
Kicsit ki kéne pucolni, de igen.
People who are criticizing me, who are calling me, well, basically everything, xenophobic, homophobic, racist, Nazi, I think that I am right. They think that they are right, and we can have a debate, but stop shouting at me because it's not profitable.
If you're not homophobic, if you're not xenophobic, if you're not a Nazi, what are you? Who are you?
Well, well, I've always said that I'm just a simple guy who has love. Who has love for his homeland, who has love for his religion, and who has love for his race. That's it. I'm just a simple guy. I really wouldn't call myself anything. I'm just an 18-year-old guy.
The meeting point of the business world, Muziad Expo brings together hundreds of companies and investors from all over the world. If you are ready to enter new markets, let's meet in Turkey, let's win together. Muziad Expo, November 21st to the 24th at Siena, Istanbul. For detailed information and registration, muziadexpo.com.
Impoverished, excluded, and under attack. Roma communities are paying the price of heightened nationalism in a country at war with itself. People and Power investigates the surge in hate crimes at the hands of far-right groups. Ukraine, Roma repression on Al Jazeera.
For this 11-year-old girl, football is a passion and a ticket out of poverty. Now she has a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to raise the stakes a little higher in her long journey to success. Championship Dreams, part of the Viewfinder Asia series on Al Jazeera.
This is Al Jazeera.
Hello, I'm Hazem Seeker. This is the News Hour, live from Doha. Coming up in the next 60 minutes.
It's all about America first. We're not going to give up hundreds of billions of dollars in orders.
The U.S. president defends relations with Saudi Arabia despite conceding its crown prince may have known about the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Shock and outrage over Trump's comments. His close ally, Senator Lindsey Graham, says America should not lose its moral voice. A suicide attack on a gathering of religious leaders kills more than 50 people in Kabul. Italy's right-wing government orders the seizure of a refugee rescue ship accusing it of dumping toxic waste.
The International Space Station is underway.
And a stellar success story. The International Space Station celebrates 20 years since its launch. Hello, US President Donald Trump says he is not going to ruin the world's economy by being tough on Saudi Arabia as political pressure grows on him to act against Riyadh over the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The US president admitting that the Saudi crown prince could have known about the plot to kill Khashoggi, but does not want any more measures against the Saudis. Earlier, a State Department official said the CIA report made it, quote, blindingly obvious that Prince Mohammed bin Salman ordered Khashoggi's murder. But Trump has defended America's alliance with Saudi Arabia, saying he needs to put American interests first.
It's all about America first. We're not going to give up hundreds of billions of dollars in orders and let Russia, China, and everybody else have them. It's all about, for me, very simple. It's America first. They're buying hundreds of billions of dollars worth of things from this country. If I say we don't want to take your business, if I say we're going to cut it off, they will get the equipment, military equipment and other things from Russia and China. Russia and China would be very, very happy because right now we're doing very well against China. We're doing very well against everybody, including Russia, and I'm going to keep it that way. And I'm not going to tell a country that's spending hundreds of billions of dollars and has helped me do one thing very importantly, keep oil prices down so that they're not going to $100 and $150 a barrel. Right now, we have oil prices in great shape. I'm not going to destroy the world economy, and I'm not going to destroy the economy for our country by being foolish with Saudi Arabia.
Mike Hanna is live for us now from Washington, D.C. So, Mike, an astonishing statement there from President Trump. What more did we have to say?
Indeed, a statement filled with a large number of exclamation marks. Certainly, President Trump making very clear that the primary motive for any decision he makes is transactional. It's all about economy, he contends. Certainly, this is something that's come under immense criticism in the hours since President Trump released that statement, insisting that he did not want to take any action against Saudi Arabia that would impinge on the U.S.'s economic relationship with them. Well, certainly his critics contending that he is putting the economy before moral values, insisting that the fact that it would appear that he simply doesn't care whether or not Mohammed bin Salman was involved in the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. But amidst all the criticism, he did get support from his Secretary of State.
So it's a mean, nasty world out there. The Middle East in particular, there are important American interests to keep the American people safe, to protect Americans, not only Americans who are here, but Americans who are traveling and working, doing business in the Middle East. It is the President's obligation, indeed the State Department's duty as well, to ensure that we adopt policies that further America's national security. So as the President said today, the United States will continue to have a relationship with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They're an important partner of ours. We will do that with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, its people. That is the commitment that the President made today.
So, Mike, what's been the reaction from the U.S. Congress then? Presumably a lot of pushback.
Well, certainly it can be summed up in one word: absolute fury. President Trump's major supporter in the past has been Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. Well, he's at the forefront of criticism of the president's statement, insisting that the Senate is intent now on introducing sanctions against Saudi Arabia, and significant, he adds, including against appropriate members of the Saudi royal family, as he puts it. Another senator, Bernie Sanders, says that the Senate will now go ahead and vote on a sanctions bill that has been introduced in the Senate, which basically applies sanctions against Saudi Arabia by preventing any further U.S. support for its ongoing operations in Yemen. So very clearly, Congress is going to go for a bipartisan reaction to President Trump's statement. We heard from Senator Lindsey Graham that there is enough bipartisan support within Congress to make this happen. The key issue here is that any legislation that the president does like coming out of the House or out of the Senate, he can simply veto. But the way to get around the veto is a 2/3 majority in both House and Senate. And clearly, given the mood of Congress at present, that is a distinct possibility.
All right, for the moment, Mike Canna, live for us there in Washington. Thanks, Mike. Our reaction to Trump's comments was quick and scathing, as you've just been hearing. Here's what former CIA Director John Brennan tweeted. Since Mr. Trump excels in dishonesty, it is now up to members of Congress to obtain and declassify the CIA findings on Jamal Khashoggi's death. No one in Saudi Arabia, most especially the Crown Prince, should escape accountability for such a heinous act. The former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations condemned Trump and Pompeo's response over Twitter, saying it is a mean and nasty world, but Trump siding with the meanest and nastiest out there. Duterte, Sisi, Putin, or assassin MBS will leave the world even nastier. This statement is a green light for would-be murderers in countries that have things Trump thinks we need. Iran's Foreign Minister Javad Zarif has also hit out at Donald Trump on Twitter for his statement, saying Mr. Trump bizarrely devotes the first paragraph of his shameful statement on Saudi atrocities to accuse Iran of every sort of malfeasance he can think of. Perhaps we're also responsible for the California fires because we didn't help rake the forests just like the Finns do. Well, John Fredericks is a syndicated radio talk show host in the U.S. He was chairman of the Trump for President campaign's Virginia unit. He joins us now from Virginia Beach. Thanks very much for being with us. So what do you make of President Trump's statement then?
Thanks for having me. Brilliant. What the president did tonight, and everybody is missing, is he surgically and strategically severed Mohammed bin Salman from the Saudi kingdom. That's what he did. What he said is, I'm not going to let one person stand in the way of my strategic relationship and the U.S. strategic relationship with the Saudis. I'm going to separate out a pure business transaction of $450 billion and $110 billion of arms sales.
It's not $450 billion. It's not $450 billion. That's been completely overstated. In fact, at the moment, it's $14.5 billion. That is coming from the State Department's own figures. The actual value of U.S. arms sales to Riyadh is $14.5 billion, and those are just letters of offer and acceptance, and it's all part of a longer process of arms transactions.
There's a memorandum. There's a memorandum of understanding of $450 billion.
Memorandums of understanding are one thing, and contracts are completely different. Isn't the president completely overstating this when he's talking about hundreds of billions of dollars?
That is not the issue.
Then why did you bring it up?
No, because there is a memorandum of understanding. That's what governments go by. They go by memorandums, but that's separate. The real question here is that what Donald Trump has done tonight, what President Trump has done, is he has basically hung MBS out to dry. He didn't implicate him, and he didn't exonerate him. He left him hanging and sifting in the wind. He said, maybe he lied to me, maybe he didn't. Maybe he was the murderer, maybe he was not involved. I don't know.
But anyone could have said that, though. Anyone could have said that, though. What sort of a message? What sort of a message is it sending? What sort of a message is the United States sending to the world?
We can't have a conversation.
Well, you're just repeating yourself now. What sort of a message is the United States sending to the world when it's putting essentially business interests and money ahead of human rights?
He's not doing that at all. You're missing the whole point of this. What the president has said is he has an America First agenda. He's making decisions that are in the best long-term strategic interest of the United States. But as far as MBS is concerned, he is sifting in the wind. The MBS charm offensive of going to the United States and meeting with members of Congress and CEOs, that's over. He's never going to get back in. There isn't a CEO in the country who will meet with him. There's not a member of Congress who is ever going to meet with MBS again. He's tarnished forever. Now, this president is not in the business of regime change. But here's what he did. He left the door wide open to further sanctions. He left the door open to Congress making actions. He left the door open to preserving the relationship between the two countries, exogenous of Mohammed bin Salman. And the final thing he did is he left the door open to regime change. Any of these things can happen. This is the way the president has laid it out today. Nobody can see what he did, and it was a strategically brilliant move and in the best interest of the people of the United States.
When the president says at the top of his statement, the world is a very dangerous place. When he says that, isn't he making it more by allowing the Saudi leadership to essentially get off on this scot-free? Isn't he making the world an even more dangerous place by sending the message to them that they can get away with this?
Nobody's getting away with anything. What he said is that he doesn't know if MBS lied to him or not. He doesn't know what MBS did. What that means is the relationship between Mohammed bin Salman and the president of the United States and the leader of the free world is finished. That's done. So the Saudis have to figure this out. He's protecting the strategic interest of the United States, putting America first ahead of this, but he has completely destroyed Mohammed bin Salman's ambitions. Mohammed bin Salman has campaigned in the United States as a reformer. Now, you know what he is? A butcher. And everybody knows that. And the president knows that. Whether he was explicitly commanded this or not, the CIA thinks he was involved in it. And the president has left Mohammed bin Salman sifting in the wind.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. John Fredericks, thanks very much for being with us.